This is Jim Duffy of Refining Fire Chiles. www.superhotchiles.com is the website. I'm going to show you a little bit of my grow area, not the whole grow area, because I don't want to do a 25-minute long video, which will put most of you to sleep. And college football is starting here. It's already started maybe, and I love college football, so I'd like to get inside and watch it. So we'll keep this short. This is the only variety I have that's not protected right here in my grow area. That's not under netting. Everything else is under netting. And this is Maldivian Heart from the Maldives, a little island chain in the Indian Ocean, which is a very expensive place to go visit because it's very far to get to, unless you live maybe in India or off the western coast of Australia, I think. Other than that, it's a long, long way by plane. And but it's a very beautiful white sand beach, the Maldives, beautiful islands. And we're trying to save this variety and preserve it because really nobody has it. Somebody made a cross with it years ago with another variety. But other than that, we haven't seen it. We almost lost it 2 years ago because we had too many aphids and we only got a few dozen peppers. But we got it again. And over here we have Cascabel. We started these late, super late. These popped, believe it or not. And these are planted extra deep. These are planted about 6 inches deeper than what you see here. These Cascabel, which is a Mexican variety, we lost because we didn't have pure seed. We were getting seed from another farmer friend, and then his seed started to be not pure. And then we grew it again this year, and it didn't come out pure. So we hit up our friend Peter Merle in Europe, and he sent us some seeds. So we're going to grow this during the winter. It's a capsicum annuum, so it should fruit within 2 months. And we'll put them in the greenhouse probably here in a few weeks. And so there won't be any bee activity or anything because we'll have the greenhouse closed up. It'll be cool enough to have everything in there. Moving along here, we got some Bolivian Rainbow. I'm going to show you real quick right here. Bolivian Rainbow. Nice ornamental type. It's got a decent flavor. This is Sweet Apple. It's a sweet, it's not on the website right now, folks. We ran out of seed. We ran out of seed about a month and a half ago. And then over here we have the Eastern European Blot Pepper, which ripens from a green, purple to orange, a burnt orange color. It's a very beautiful pepper, very fruity. And then we got some purple jalapeno. They ripen from purple to red. And over here we have some Freeport orange, Scotch bonnet, and they're starting to take off. We planted these super, super extra late. We're happy about that, but we planted them late. And then we've got some Rayados here, Rayados jalapeno. They're an heirloom jalapeno. And over here we've got some ají mango, nice fruity pepper. Down there we have Tangerine Dream. That's a sweet no heat pepper. Over here we have a Pueblo pepper called Isleta or Isleta long. And it's a Native American Pueblo chili that's rare. And we have the regular Isleta, which just is not as long as the Isleta long. Hence the name Isleta long. And we have some black tie here. And over here we have a bunch of ají fantasy, like a typical capsicum bacatum species. It's loaded up the net and filled up the net like crazy. And then over here we have Isleta. And then here we have some churrasero. It's a seasoning pepper from Spain. And you're not seeing a lot of peppers because we've been picking the last 3 days. So that's why there's not a lot of peppers on here. And here's some peppers on the ground that were rejects. And then we have in here Himo Togarashi, which is very, very sweet. But if you let it ripen red, it'll get some heat and it'll be a slightly bitter tasting. You'll lose some of the sweetness. So this is primarily this Japanese heirloom, which is very productive. Reminds me of a Thunder Mountain Longhorn. They don't get as long, but they look very similar. But the flavor is way better than the Thunder Mountain Longhorn. Thunder Mountain Longhorn, I know it's very popular. A lot of you guys like growing it. It's a pain to get the seeds out because they're so skinny. But the flavor is like an average cayenne. I mean, they look super, super cool. But really, if you wanted to grow an Asian type, similar, that's got way better flavor, I would go with the Himotogarashi. You're going to get a meatier pepper, a more productive pepper, and better flavor. That's just my opinion. What I encourage all of you to do is, I don't want to be like the super salesman. So what I encourage you all to do is grow out some new stuff every year and decide if it's just as good as I said it was or someone else said it was. Don't just take the word that this is the sweetest or this is the hottest. Grow yourself and find it out, that information. What you think about a pepper is more important than what anybody else thinks about a pepper. Let's just put it that way. And here is the orange pepperoncini, which is kind of like a pepperoncini, but it's not really a true pepperoncini. Over here, the variegated variety you see here is Tiger Jalapeno, and they ripen mainly from purple to red. Sometimes they get some striping. They don't always get striping, folks. They don't always get striping. I mean, sometimes you get a plant and you get lots of striping. Sometimes you hardly ever see it. And I put that in the description on my website. So if you don't get some peppers that look like the coolest ones I've got grown before, it's just the way it is. It's a cross. And here we have some Capia paprika. They're from Turkey and Eastern Europe. Very, very flavorful and productive type. We got hit heavy with caterpillars on these earlier in the year, so we had to spray some organic BT to knock them down. And then in here we have Valero. And Valero is a brown variety used to make chili Colorado. It's from northern Mexico, in the state of Chihuahua. And then we have some Peter Red and Peter Orange, Peter Peppers. You know, I think most of you know what Peter Peppers are, so I don't have to get into the description of them. There's one right back there. And then here we have some Chile de Agua. Chile de Agua is a native heirloom from Oaxaca, Mexico. Very, very tasty. One of the varieties that is slowly disappearing because, just to give you a brief thing about native varieties, in South America, Central America, Mexico, and countries like that, a lot of them are disappearing. And you may ask yourself, why are they disappearing? Well, because big corporate grocery store chains go down to Mexico and they find these third world farmers that don't make much money. And I mean, our farmers don't make much money, but just imagine people in these countries, how much money they make. And they go down there and they'll go like, well, you know, if you grow jalapenos for our grocery store, or poblanos for our grocery store, or Anaheims for our grocery store, we'll give you 2 cents more a pound. Now, if you're a farmer down there with a huge family, because most people down there farm, they have a whole family helping them. So you got to take care of your family, right? That's most important. So what they'll do is they'll stop growing Chile de Agua, which is something that's been in their family farm for generations, and they'll grow a jalapeno or a commercial variety and get another 2 cents or a nickel per pound, which is a lot of money to them. A lot of money. So that's why a lot of these varieties are disappearing, because corporate America is getting farmers, taking advantage of farmers, and instead of saying like, hey, why don't you grow Chile de Agua? Let's try that out in our grocery store chain, so Chile de Agua will stay alive. No, they'll grow the commercial varieties, and little by little, the heirloom varieties become forgotten about or even extinct. Well, that's the story, folks. Hope I didn't bore you with that. This is Sinahuisa. Sinahuisa is a Native American type from Sonora, Mexico. I believe it's Sonora. I may be wrong. It looks like a Serrano, but it's fruitier, almost as hot, and very, very productive. Now, this is a variety that doesn't really sell well in my catalog. Keeping it going, to me, it's a must grow. If you've ever tasted it, it's a must grow because it's delicious. I mean, isn't that why we grow peppers? Because they're food and they're delicious. So I encourage some of you to try Sinahuisa. Okay. And let's moving along here. We have another native type that it's Coriciticami, and it's from Chihuahua, Mexico, in the mountains where the Tarahumara Indians live. And it's got amazing flavor. And It's very, very productive. It's hard to see all the green peppers are in there, but there's a couple hundred green peppers in here right now. It's another variety like you should check out. Check it out. I'm not trying to be a salesman here. I'm just trying to tell you there's some stuff that are on my website that is delicious, and you'll grow it and you'll get a ton of peppers and share it with family and friends and coworkers. And you'll enjoy it. It's all about flavor, folks. Heat is great. I like heat. I like spice, but it's all about flavor. And over here is yellow Thai. It's really more ripens to a yellow to an orange. Orange is pretty much the color, a light orange, but it's called yellow Thai. I've been growing this for about 6-8 years now, and it's another super productive pepper. I'll get to the point where I don't need any more seeds off of this variety, and I'll just invite someone over to pick whatever they want to eat, because I just don't need that many more yellow Thai. There's so many in here. Over here is Big Bang. This is an Asian chili, a Chinese chili. They get pretty long, but they have heat. Then we've got some Brazilian starfish here. They're starting to flower late. That's a regular red. And then over here we have Cochiti Pueblo, which is a rare Pueblo chili from New Mexico. This is rare. It was very hard for me to get the seeds off of this. Maybe a few other people are selling it. It's funny. Sometimes I go on the internet and I post on social media, rare chili, and then someone else goes, "Oh, I can find it in 3 other places." Oh, good for you. It's rare. If you go to the area of Cochiti, there's hardly anybody farming it anymore. So it is disappearing. So it's rare. Okay? I'm happy for you that you found it somewhere else. Go buy it somewhere else. Don't buy it from me. It's okay. It's all right. I'll survive. And here is Pimenta Bresse. Pimenta Bresse is another very productive chili. It's from France. So just imagine the heat of a high jalapeno, but sweetness like sugar. That's Pimenta Bresse. And it's from France. It is not a big seller either, but it's an heirloom, so I'm going to keep it going. I'm growing it again this year, so I have fresh seed. And again, try Pimenta Bresse. Try Korisitakami. Try Sinahuisa. You will not be disappointed in eating those with your food. Then we have San Felipe Pueblo here. And it's another Native American Pueblo chili. And then here we have ahi pineapple. So that's about it, folks. I'm not going to go through the remaining 2 rows because I'll miss football. And number 2, this video will turn into a 25-minute video, which will be too long. So I mentioned to some of you all back in a month or so ago that I wasn't really getting much fruiting and flowering back here in the back row, because this back row here gets too much shade and the pot stayed too wet. So I actually had to pull the drip heads out and let them dry out. And I think it's also from the high nitrogen in the mushroom compost I'm using that I've never used before. This is the first time I've used it since I moved from California to Georgia. But I'm finally getting some peppers back here. Here's Frontera Sweet. It's a sweet Scotch bonnet type that has almost no heat. Well, it's got maybe below jalapeno heat, but it does not have Scotch bonnet heat. And I'm finally starting to get some flowering. I hit these with Bloom Nutrient once a week, 5 weeks in a row, and I'm finally pushing it to flower. And I took the drip heads out of the pot to dry the pots out. I'll put them back in as soon as I start seeing some wilting. But for right now, all these plants in the back row have just survived off of the rainfall occasionally, once a week or every 5-6 days or every 10 days. I have not had to water these back pots. That's how wet they were staying, which probably contributed to the plants growing really big and not putting up flowers and fruits. But I'm starting to get something, and next year I'll just make adjustments. I tell everybody, wherever you move or go live, you're going to make adjustments. You're going to grow differently in Florida with your soil mix or how you set up your soil as you will in Arizona or as you will in the Northeast. You're going to make adjustments. And I'm happy to tell anybody what those adjustments are to help you out, because I have customers all over the country and all over the world. But I can't tell you, the one answer I cannot tell you that people bug me all the time. Hey, what varieties grow great in Omaha, Nebraska? Well, you need to ask somebody in Omaha, Nebraska, because I don't live there. And I haven't experimented with 400 types there. And then out of those 400, I go, these are the 100 best to grow in Omaha, Nebraska. I don't have that information. I wish I could tell you. Pretty much the answer is you can grow any chili anywhere, just make adjustments. Make adjustments, which means starting earlier indoors because you have a shorter season, which means having well-drained soil because you're really rainy in Central Florida. You know, make adjustments, and you'll be able to succeed and grow. And then the only other thing I can tell you is pests. You're going to have different pests are going to hurt you in different areas. Here in Georgia, I found out it's the small caterpillars, cutworms, and grasshoppers and stink bugs. Back in California, it was aphids and spider mites. So you make adjustments to fight the pests and to grow, and that's what you do. So wish I could tell you, here's the top 10 chilies for your town, your city, your neighborhood. That'll do the best for you, but I don't have that information, and that information is not in any textbook anywhere. So I wish I could tell you. I wish I could answer that question. It's like the pepper ID question. People ask me, oh, what is this pepper? And it looks like a cayenne type. Well, there's 1,000 peppers that look like a cayenne type. So how can I answer that question? I cannot answer that question. I wish I could. Love to answer some of these questions. I'm not trying to dodge you all. And here's a quick look at the woods behind my house where my dogs go running. And down here towards the back, I have fruit trees and berry bushes growing. Some have died. Some are growing. We'll see. That's a new thing for me. Fruit trees and berry bushes are a new thing for me. But I want to be more self-sustaining. I'm going to grow some more other stuff back here too. I want to be more self-sustaining as the prices go up in the grocery stores on everything. All right, folks. You all take care. This is Jim Duffy of Refining Fire Chilies, www.superhotchilies.com.